Hello, I'm Dr. Mikey Mewborn, and this is Leadership Development. Today we're looking at the topic, Search for Opportunities. Now, when we talk about searching for opportunities, what does that mean? We're looking for opportunities to grow. Well, how do we do that? Well, we got to find ways to challenge ourselves. We got to find ways to challenge the people around us so that they grow. Because when people aren't challenged, they don't grow. When people don't go through change or they don't experience change, they're going to stay in a routine or possibly a rut and never get out of it. And so we're going to look at some of those things today. It's good to be with you. Let's begin our study. Hello and welcome to Leadership Development. Today we're looking at the lesson, Search for Opportunities. We're getting our outline notes from the book, The Leadership Challenge. It's good to be with you. Let's begin our study. And the idea of searching for opportunities, I'd like to start with this quote. Leaders don't have to change history, but they do have to make change in business as usual. I think that's a great quote for us to start with because the idea is that if you don't change or if you're not willing to change, you're going to find yourself in a routine. And as we've looked at previously, when you're in a routine, you often find yourself going into a rut. You stifle change and maturity and growth. And so what we're trying to do is to break out of that type of mold and instead start building workplaces of change, build teams that are willing to change, build a culture of change. And the idea there is to change with the patterns that are going on around us or the trends that are going on around us. Of course, you want to hold on to certain traditions that are so vital to what your beliefs are, your values, convictions, those things. But there may be some areas that you can change in that'll be important for working with the world as it's changing. And maybe your company or maybe the very thing that you sell or the very movement that you have, it might change as the culture's changing. So you want to be aware of those things. Churches change all the time. And the reason that they do is because technology changes. A lot of people today that are at the age of buying houses and at the age of having families, they've never written a check before in their lives. Well, that's an interesting thing to think about. If they've never written a check, well, then how do you give a tithe? Do you pay with cash? A lot of people today don't even have cash on hand. So what are they doing? So there has to be other options for those types of things. When you look at that, something as simple as paying a tithe or making a contribution to a church, it's changed. What about having a Bible in hand? Many people today don't use Bibles, a physical Bible, to read along with the pastor. They use their phone, they use an iPad. And so that's brought a lot of change for people. So what do? We work with that and we move forward. It's not about creating a huge legacy. It's not about changing the course of history per se, but it is about changing with the culture. Now, as we look at the next part, we're going to get into treat every job as an adventure. What that means is be willing to go on a field trip with coworkers or with your team. Get out and experience new things. Every job needs to be like an adventure. I'm learning something new in this place. There's something I want to challenge myself to do. There's an area that I'd like to learn more about. So get out and try to learn more about it. Take people along for the ride. Get people with you on that ride of trying to understand more and more of a new area. Maybe it's an area that you find interesting that's similar to your position, but it's outside of your responsibilities. Maybe take a field trip and learn more about that department, whatever it might be there. Create memories as a company. I think one of the ways that you do that is to spend time with coworkers outside the workplace. It's to have a picnic with them. It's to get outside and talk about your families. It's to get off somewhere and to learn about one another. Maybe it'll get as deep as beliefs, but maybe it'll be as simple as where do people shop or where do they like to eat, those things. We always want to look at the idea, too, of trying new foods or playing sports together because I think that's one of the best ways to just experience something with somebody. For instance, if somebody's never had sushi before or if they've never had Mediterranean type of food before and you want to get them out and try something new, well, get out and do that with them, and that experience will be a great memory. Or playing sports, trying to be on a softball team or a kickball team, something like that. Then start a new project every quarter. Projects bring people together in incredible ways. People have to work together, they have responsibilities, and they're accomplishing something as a team, and that always builds memories as well. So treat each job as an adventure. Also, seek meaningful challenges for yourself. Start with a review. Remember these questions we've asked before. What do you care about? What inspires you? What's the legacy you want to leave? Which areas do you excel in? What are some areas in your life that are underdeveloped? When you look at these questions and you go over these in your life, you're going to find yourself saying, well, I could do better in this area. Maybe I am underdeveloped and I need to work on this area a little bit more. Maybe it's interpersonal skills. I don't interview very well. I don't do, my presentations are not as strong as I want them to be. So I need to enroll into a public speaking course or learn a little bit more about that. Maybe there's certain things out there that inspire you and you want to learn more about those things. Then I always like to look at the idea of the legacy that I'm going to leave behind. What legacy do I want to leave? What does it look like? What are people going to think of when they think of me once I'm gone? That's important to think about, because if you want to leave a legacy, you have to start today. You have to work toward that. You got to start putting that in place now if you hope to leave that later on. So start with review over these things, because I think the more that you can ask these questions and have answers to these, the better you'll be in trying to challenge yourself. Also, this quote is very helpful for us when we're thinking about being challenged. When you are not willing to be challenged, disturbed, or offended, you are not willing to explore your weaknesses or ever claim the potential of greater strengths. It's so true. If you're not willing to be challenged, you're not willing to get out there and do something that you haven't done before, if you're not willing to do that, you're going to find yourself becoming weaker over time, and you'll never be able to claim the potential that you really have to go on and do better and greater things. I like this quote as well. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. We need to be fearless. We need to be the people that say, I'm willing to go after something new. I'm willing to go after these challenges. I'm willing to go against something that's maybe against my everyday routine. However, it will be helpful for me in the long run. It'll strengthen me and I'll be better for it. Now, I also wanted to look at this. Find and create meaningful challenges for others. Try delegating new jobs to inexperienced people. Sometimes people don't even know their potential. They might just be afraid of something because they've never experienced it before. They've never had that responsibility. But when you put that on them or give that to them, they may rise to the top. They might excel in that area, and you'll find out something new about them in that. Also, involve others in solving problems. Get other people in the conversation when trying to solve problems. You'll find out potential. Also, ask your team members for advice. One of the great things you can do is ask people around you in the workplace, the people that are in leadership roles with you, or people that are directors or support staff, whatever it might be, ask them for advice. They might have a different perspective that would be very helpful in something you're trying to do. Then ask team members to evaluate their supervisors. I think that's one of the great ways to learn about a company, is to get the support staff or team members in general across the board to evaluate the work of their supervisors or their directors or their VPs. Whoever it might be, get the evaluations, because I think that's going to be helpful in making a culture of intercommunication or interpersonal communication that's going to help in an organization. I came by this article and I thought it was really good for us to look at. 4 ways to challenge employees to reach their potential. And I like what this says. It says, look for potential in others and call it out. So look for it. Look at the things that inspire other people. Look at where they excel, and then give them some responsibilities or tasks that would pull out that potential. Push people out of complacency. Give them something that's harder than they're used to, or give them something that's a little bit out of the norm for them, out of their routine, and see how they respond to that. Make failure a learning process. When failure is okay and it's somewhat acceptable, more people will be willing to try new things. Also, remind employees that it's about the effort, not just innate skills. It's not about how great someone is or how talented or gifted they are. It's about the effort that they're putting into something. This is wonderful advice when raising kids as well. You don't tell children just that they're great all the time. What you do is you praise their efforts, because when you praise their efforts, it's been proven statistically that they will work harder because you are praising the things that they should be caring about. When you tell them they're the most beautiful, they're the best at a sport, you tell them that they're the best person that you've ever seen academically or musically, when you tell them that, it will not push them to go further into that. But when you praise the effort, they will push harder. Add fun to everyone's work. I love this picture, just a work party there, right? But look at things like that. What are you doing within your organization that is a lot of fun, or it's something enjoyable that people look forward to every quarter or maybe every month or something like that? Are you doing spring picnics or fall festivals, celebrating birthday parties, maybe ice cream socials, just having ice cream in the break room, or some kind of faculty lounge or a business office that is open for that type of thing. Do an ice cream social for people. Scavenger hunts. Get people moving around. That's always fun. Costume parties. Have things where people can dress up. Have events where people can dress up and be something. Maybe it's their favorite sports team, or maybe it's getting ready for a Halloween type of event or whatever. Have costume parties. Sporting events. Go to sporting events together. If it's a local baseball team or a local football team, maybe it's something new going on that everybody just wants to go check it out and see what it's like. Whatever it is, go check those things out and see, go create some memories with people. Then also question the status quo. I like this. The sign says, change ahead. Change is coming. Ask the question, why do we do this or that? Why are we doing what we're doing? Do we need to change it? Change creates vulnerability and responses. So that's a good thing. When people are going through change, they're more vulnerable. They're more apt to learn something new, and they often respond more to that as well. Change allows people to see from different perspectives. And then change promotes knowledge and strength. Well, it promotes knowledge because you have different perspective, but also it promotes strength because whenever somebody has to go through something that's different, they're stronger for it. And then I want to show you this slide, the idea of musical chairs. Renew your teams. Musical chairs is such a fun game for kids, and it's equally as fun for adults sometimes, especially a youth group or a student group. But it's fun to see students playing this game where there's a certain amount of chairs in a circle, and you walk around these chairs, and there's only enough chairs for one less than that's walking around. And so when the music stops, everybody sits down, and there's always one person left standing because there's not enough chairs for everybody. But what that does is it gets people out of their comfort zone. They can't be in the same chair all the time. They're moving around. And so what you want to do there with that thought is renew your teams. Teams can become complacent. So you want to get them moving. You want to get them changing positions. Have team members rotate their positions. Put them in different roles. Give them different jobs or responsibilities. Give them out of their comfort zone. Appoint new team members and remove others. What you want to do there is start putting new people on teams so that it keeps the culture of change going, and people are getting new ideas all the time because they're seeing new members all the time. Give teams something new that they can accomplish together. And as they accomplish it, they'll have those memories. They'll also have more strength and more courage to face change as it comes their way. All right? Well, this has been Search for Opportunities. So good to be with you today. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, that concludes our study for today. It's always important to find ways to challenge yourself and the people around you. I encourage you to do that maybe in your community group or within your church. Maybe it's at the workplace. Find ways to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Maybe to get out of that normal routine that you have on a daily basis. Find ways to do that, and then also look for ways that you can challenge the people around you. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's somebody that is within your church. Maybe it's a coworker. Work with them and try to get them to see ways that they can better their lives as well. It's good to be with you today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.